Welcome to another episode of Sanford Says. This is Lisa Holder, Communications Officer. We're so glad you're here with us today. We have two guests. Michael Zaharias is the Program Director for the Florida Virtual Entrepreneur Center, and Bob Turk is our Economic Development Director for the City of Sanford. And today we're going to be talking about a lot of things entrepreneurial, correct? Welcome, Michael, and welcome, Bob. How are you today?
Oh, we're doing great. Beautiful day in the city of Sanford.
It sure is. So we're going to start off with some questions just to get to know you both. Let's start with Michael. Can you tell us your background, Michael, and what led you to where you are today as the program director?
Yeah, absolutely. So thank you again for the invitation to be here. Love the city of Sanford. Always enjoy the opportunity to come here and see how great the city's doing. But my background has always been entrepreneurship. I was very lucky that from a young age I grew up in an entrepreneurial family. My family's still in business today, 40 years later, and so I always grew up with the mindset that if you have an idea and you're willing to work hard, you can go out and make it happen. So I was involved in the family business. I went and got a bachelor's and a master's degree from UCF, and along that journey, go Knights!
Go Knights!
Yeah, along that journey, I had an opportunity to be introduced to the concept of the Virtual Entrepreneur Center when it was very first getting started back in 2005. And so the whole concept was to create a website where entrepreneurs could go to find resources. And we set that up for one area in Florida, and then all of a sudden a couple of years went by, and now we're all over the state. And so I love entrepreneurship. I eat, breathe, and sleep it, and I feel very fortunate that I've been able to be on both sides of the entrepreneurship journey, meaning being in business but also serving businesses. So I understand both ends of the spectrum, and I just want to do everything I can to lift up Sanford entrepreneurs, because when they are lifted, the county does better, the state does better, our country does better.
Thank you, and you are making it happen, it sounds like. So thank you, Michael. And what about you, Bob?
Well, this is not my first rodeo here on the podcast, so a lot of people know who I am. Bob Turk. I'm the Economic Development Director for the city. I've been in this business for over 35 years. I've worked in chamber business in Alabama and Georgia, and of course worked for TVA for 15 years doing some economic development, but my degree was in landscape architecture. So it's been a journey. I've been back here 35 years in Central Florida, and I think one of the main things is I was the first director, program manager for the National Entrepreneur Center in Orlando. So I worked there 2 years before we brought on SBA to kind of run the organization, and then I went on to Daytona after that, doing chamber and economic development work. But I've been back here in Sanford for about 6 years now, doing economic development. So we'll get into more of that as far as how it relates to the entrepreneur.
Sure. So, Michael, what exactly is the Florida Virtual Entrepreneur Center, and how do people find you, and how do entrepreneurs get connected with your center?
Absolutely. So the Virtual Entrepreneur Center is a website. It's a web portal. FLVEC.com is where you go to access the website. And from there, there's really three things that we do to serve businesses. We have a list of resources that are available to help businesses. There's over 900 resources in the state of Florida that we promote through our website and help connect entrepreneurs to those resources. So it could be for business planning, mentorship, funding, and the list goes on and on.
And let me interject
please, go ahead.
That it's always a little different in every community.
Yep.
So,
that's a great point.
Yeah,
every city, every county, every region, the state, there's different resources available in all those different areas. So if you want to get directly to the Sanford page, you would just go to flvec.com/SanfordED, and that would take you right into the Sanford page. So the other thing that we do in addition to resources is we have a calendar of events on the website. And I've been doing this for over a decade now, and every time I go to a community, someone says to me, Michael, I wish there was a place you could find all of the events that are going on for businesses. So we went out and created that function through a master calendar of events where our website pulls in event information from 50 different public sources and puts it into one calendar. It's not inclusive of everything that's going on, but it's a really good place to see a lot of what's going on.
Okay.
So now you've got resources, you've got the events, and our third piece, which is the most widely used feature on our website, is what we call entrepreneur profiles. So this is where we sit down and interview over the phone a local business here in Sanford, understand who they are, what they're doing, why they chose Sanford, why they came to Sanford if they weren't here previously, and then talk about their journey in entrepreneurship. There's golden nuggets in everybody's story that other entrepreneurs can use for their own ideas and their own businesses. So we're packaging that all together in a profile. We're putting the person's picture there, the CEO's picture, so you can see who he or she is. Their story will be there. And then there's also the contact information to get in touch with that entrepreneur, so that after you read the story, you may or may not meet the person in person at an event, but through our platform, you can connect with that individual by sending them a message.
Okay.
So that's FLVEC. Our three focuses are resources, events, and the profiles of entrepreneurs.
Okay. And so is there a fee to this? Are we going to get into this with the sponsorships?
Let's get into it now.
Okay.
Yeah, so the great thing is, and I mean this sincerely from my heart, that we would not be able to do what we do with the Virtual Entrepreneur Center without folks like the City of Sanford, Bob Turk, and the Economic Development Department for sponsoring the FLVEC website for Sanford. So the city sponsors our site, which makes it free for individuals and businesses that are here in the city of Sanford.
Okay. Bob, you want to talk about
this? Is part of our assistance program for the small businesses, because we do have our BRE, which are
business
retention and expansion.
Yes.
Thanks, Lisa. But not only that, but it gives a great opportunity once we get out there personally and meet some of these people. They will have an opportunity to go on the site and use this, as like you mentioned earlier, as one of the tools in our toolkit to help those existing industries, those existing businesses. Because as SBA says, anything under 500 jobs is a small business.
Right.
But to us, it's like 30, 40, 50, employees.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, you can't leave out our small mom and pops.
Right.
They're very crucial here, because 95% of our businesses are less than 10 people.
Right.
So that's a big plus for us, for the businesses to be able to go out there and meet some of the other CEOs
Right.
and find out how they're doing it if they've got an issue.
Right.
Whether it's funding or whether it's workforce development, they have somebody that's on their bandwagon. They can help them.
So this is really important, and thankfully to the City of Sanford for helping our business community and getting together and connecting and networking is really something special. And do you want to mention the website again, Michael?
Yeah, absolutely, Lisa. The main website is www.flvec.com. And then from there, you'll see the city represented there, and you can click in and get directly to the city's information. Or to go directly to the city's information, you just punch in www.flvec.com/SanfordED.
Okay. And so when you mentioned earlier that you work with a lot of other companies, are you talking about Chamber of Commerce's too, to coordinate their events? So say, for instance, the events that we have here for our chambers, is that something that you pull into for your calendars? Is that kind of...
Yeah, we're working either through the technology of being able to source event information, or there are ways to manually input events so that the content would show up on the calendar.
Okay, because I would imagine that's a great networking way to be, is actually the calendar and events, is what you mentioned earlier. So how do businesses get their profile on there, on the website, and why should they be racing to sign up now, Michael?
It's really easy. When you go to flvec.com, along the very top, there is a sign up button where you would fill out a short application letting us know that you would like to be interviewed and featured on the website. And then we will schedule a time to talk to you, and usually 30 minutes to an hour on the phone. Once we have the story, about 24 to 48 hours later, we'll send you a draft of the write-up. You approve it or give us some feedback, and then it'll go live. Now, why you should be racing to do this. If you go on our website right now and look at any of the entrepreneurs, take their name, and then Google search them, 9 times out of 10, you're going to see their profile come up on the first page of search results.
That's so important nowadays, search engine optimization.
It is huge because so many people use Google to find what they're looking for. So if you're not showing up on the first page, you're missing out on a lot of opportunity. And at the same time, what better way to get to know somebody that maybe you want to do business with than to see a story about who they are and what they're doing? And that's the real power. So envision you go Google search Bob Turk, Sanford. You see Bob's profile when you click on one of the links, and you actually get to read and know him. It's very powerful to understand who he is and what he's doing. So,
yeah. Now, speaking of who he is and what he's doing for the city of Sanford and for our businesses, is this typical for cities to sponsor these types of programs or with the FLVEC?
Yeah, absolutely. And great question. We have currently 35 city, county, economic development partners from around the state of Florida that support the program, similar to how the city of Sanford does. So we want to have everybody and anybody in terms of those sponsors be a part of what we're doing, because the voice of the businesses, we want to keep businesses here in Sanford and in our state. And the way we do that is by showing them that we care about them, and this is a great tool to do that. But then to take their voice, which is the story we come up with, and allow other people that aren't currently here in Sanford or in Florida to read about how successful someone's doing here, that's a way to attract more businesses and more people to Sanford and to Florida. So our program, FLVEC, serves both ends of the spectrum in terms of helping retain who we have and see them grow, but also promoting how great Sanford is for people that want to come here with their business.
Yeah. We also mentioned, Michael, the ones that are on there now on the site, they have, I know for a fact, contacted other ones that are on there, and they have been able to really get other business from that, and they work together in partnership. So
it's another great point, Bob, is that the businesses that have a profile on FLVEC are communicating with each other through the contact platform that we have built in. So you don't even have to leave your office, and you're able to reach out to your peer CEO and form business relationships, maybe get some mentorship, form a partnership. There's a lot of different reasons why folks are connecting through FLVEC to do business.
Right. Is it like a login functionality once you have your profile, so to speak, set up? No, it's just there. Open.
No.
Okay.
We know, and I took this from my time growing up in entrepreneurship, CEOs are busy. Whether you're running a one-person business or a 100-person business or anything in between or larger, CEOs are busy. So our laser focus has been on how do we make FLVEC as efficient and as effective as we can be. There's no login required.
Okay.
You can
User-friendly.
go right in, search, contact, message, anything you want to do right through the platform.
And that, again, is FLVEC.com.
You got it.
And so I like what you say about even if it's one person, you're a CEO. If you have a one-man shop, you are running the show. And so that's really special, because in business these days, it takes a whole lot, regardless if you have a team of people behind you or if you're doing it all on your own. So
Amen.
It sounds like a great resource to have. And can you give us one or two business tips that you've learned from interviewing more than, is it 800 entrepreneurs, Michael?
Yes, there's so many, it's really hard to pick out. I mean, again, everybody has a story, and there's golden nuggets in every story. But the one thing that I will pull out is that an entrepreneur said to me one time that when you feel down or you feel like you're about to not make what you're trying to achieve, when you get backed into a corner, that's when you get creative. And that statement has resonated with me personally in everything that we do with FLVEC, and even some things that I do in my own personal life, is that, we're all going to hit stumbling blocks. We're all going to hit speed bumps. Sometimes bigger ones and sometimes smaller ones, but they are going to come, and we're going to feel like, is this the right path? Is this the right thing I'm doing? But when you do get backed into that corner and you're feeling like, man, I got to power through this, how am I going to do it? That's when the creativity kicks in and you're like, you know what? I can figure this out, and I will figure it out, and maybe here's a way I didn't see it before until I had gotten back into that corner. So
it leads us to another point where most of the entrepreneurs that have made it have always failed once, twice, three times before they've really made it. You know?
So true.
Yeah.
And many of the stories on our website reflect that, that it might be the third, fourth, fifth business that the entrepreneur is on before they really would consider themselves successful. So, you know, every failure has learning lessons in it. It's your ability to apply those and go back and hit it again.
Right. And so you write the stories about these businesses, Michael? Is that?
Yeah. So I'm very blessed that we have a great team of a small team. I have a colleague, Chris, who does all of the interviews, and he is a profile guru and wordsmith master. I mean, he really, when you read the story about somebody, and it's succinct, it's on point, and, you know, most of the stories you could probably read in 2 to 5 minutes.
Yeah. And think about it, it's the first thing people see. If they're not interested in what's being written, it may not grab their attention. So it's very important and critical that what is written is succinct and it really describes what this business is all about. Correct?
Yep. Right. I mean, and I would ask the listeners to really go to the site and look at some of those. You would not believe some of the companies that we have right here in Sanford.
Yeah, and so that's something that we like to talk about too, Bob. Can you share some of those businesses that are on?
Yeah, that are on there. One in particular is Hernan Manufacturing. You know, they've been here for 40 years, and they've probably expanded twice since I've been here.
Right.
But they do industrial adhesives for the automobile market, for the military. It's a very strong product. And then you've got Dot Decimal, who's a very medical technology company, very high-tech out there. You've got Gene McCulley with Stack Frame, who does IT simulation. So we have all types. Even restaurants are on there. So you have all types. Agriculture companies are on there. So we have a good assortment.
Yes.
And I think we're the second largest city with the second largest number.
Yes.
In the state. So.
Sounds like there's a good mix of industry on there.
We're going to keep bringing them on.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the nice thing about FLVEC is that we've always adopted the mindset that everyone's an entrepreneur and everybody has a story to tell. So it's open to any business in Sanford.
Okay. It is open to any business in Sanford. So if you're listening out there and you know a business owner or you know a business, share this podcast with them, share this information so that they can be part of this website and this great company, Florida Virtual Entrepreneur Center. And you're located here. Is that correct, Michael? Or do you travel a lot across the state?
Yeah, let me, I won't dive into it too deep, but let me just tell you how sort of we're structured. So, I work for the Florida High-Tech Corridor Council. That organization is a regional economic development organization made up by the University of Central Florida, University of South Florida, and University of Florida. So those three state universities pull some of their resources together and created and oversee the Florida High-Tech Corridor. FLVEC is one of the corridor's programs. So it's not a private company. It's part of an economic development organization that is a nonprofit. And, our mission is to connect and promote entrepreneurs in partnership with cities like Sanford and others around the state. So our headquarters, my office, is in Daytona Beach at the Volusia County Business Incubator, which is powered by UCF. And I spend a lot of my time traveling to communities where we have sponsors doing things like we are today, podcasts or speaking, doing events, networking with their businesses, and letting them know how powerful FLVEC can be for them. And that's how we've been able to not only build our base of sponsors, but also get to 800 CEO profiles.
That's wonderful. Congratulations
Thank
on
you.
that. So can you tell us a little bit more about some trends in entrepreneurship?
Yeah, and I love to look at this. The unique thing is that entrepreneurship is for everyone, and I mean that wholeheartedly. I see it day in and day out. A lot of folks that we interview are individuals that had careers and exited those careers, but had a passion for business or had an idea that they had been tinkering with, and so they started a company. Other folks turned to entrepreneurship when the recession happened, 9 years ago, and never went back, have continued with their companies. We see a lot of African American or growth in African American entrepreneurs, as well as female entrepreneurs. So, again, it's been very rewarding to get to look at the picture and the dynamics of what's happening. And I always tell people, and I tell communities, that there is no better time to be an entrepreneur than right now. There's more resources, there's more focus, there's more attention than there's ever been. And when I go back and talk to my family who got started in business more than 40 years ago and tell them about these resources, they always remind me that none of this was really there back then.
Right.
So to have it and to be able to use it, you should take advantage of FLVEC and many other things that are out there to support you.
Right. Great resource.
Well, you can also go to the economic development page on the city site.
Okay.
Because it's a plug and play. If you go there, you can go straight to there from our site to their site.
All right, and that's sanfordfl.gov. Little plug for the City of Sanford
Yep.
website.
Yeah, we try to cross-promote and cross-link.
So, Bob, to you, so what other services does the City of Sanford have for our local businesses?
Well, we have, like I mentioned earlier, the BRE, retention and expansion. But besides that, we can go into each one of the businesses and help them make these connections. But this is why we have the FLVEC here, because that's one of the critical programs that's great for small business, because you can go there and you can go to all of these 400 different contacts out there to help. No matter what it is, you can find it on that site.
Right, and we want
Of course, we have our CRA program, which has grants to help with facade grants when they have their own building or redevelopment.
Okay.
Or new development. But we do have some incentives to do that.
So can you find incentives through this website? Oh, you can. So you can find incentives. That's part of it.
Yeah, we link to the city's incentive program. We link to the CRA. Yeah, we have a whole, again, when you come in, our focus is on efficiency for that individual using the website. And so when we set up the City of Sanford's page, not only did we put Bob's contact information in there and how to find the city, but we also put in there information on the incentive programs and demographics and buildings that are available. A lot of different links are there.
Okay, great. Sounds wonderful. It sounds user-friendly, so we encourage everybody to please, who's listening and interested, please visit the website, flvec.com. So let's switch up. Is there anything else that you'd like to share about your program, Michael?
Yeah, I mean, one of the things we're always looking for is user feedback, right? So we want to get better, not based on my own thoughts and ideas, but obviously on that of the users. So if anyone in Sanford or beyond is listening and visits flvec.com, we'd certainly love to hear what you think. And as you mentioned earlier, Lisa, I would say that even if you're listening right now or listening to the podcast later and you yourself are not an entrepreneur or a business owner, you know someone who is, and you should tell them, because you will look good in their eyes that you referred them to such a quality resource.
Right. And that's one of the goals of this podcast, is to share information like this, because we have it on our website, we talk about it in business meetings and things like that, but this is just another extension of getting this information out to the public, to business owners, to entrepreneurs in particular. So it's wonderful. Bob, anything that you'd like to add?
Just call if you're interested. Please call us. We'd like to promote and market your business, your company. So we're ready, willing, and able to help you do that.
What number would they call?
they would call either one.
Okay.
Michael's number at
386-341-9868.
or my number is 407-688-5015.
All right. So we'll switch gears a little bit here and just ask a question or two about what you both like about the city of Sanford. So, Michael, you first. Name a place or any place that you like to visit in Sanford or that you do visit and you are fond of.
Yeah, so I'm grinning ear to ear right now. As I mentioned earlier, I love Sanford, and I love all areas in Florida. I really do. But it was nice coming here today and driving along the water. So on the way taking my daughter to school this morning, I asked her this question. And I said, honey, I'm going over to Sanford today. And I said, remember we went there and we took mom and had lunch and whatnot. And she goes, oh, that's where the zoo is.
The zoo.
So the Sanford Zoo is we hold a special place there because we live right over the bridge and are able to come there and see our daughter's joy at the zoo. But while we're here, I will say that I also have a soft spot for Fuel's Barbecue, which is right around the corner. So they have seen me many times.
Lunchtime soon.
Yeah. But overall, it's a really great city, and I don't think there's a bad place here.
Great, Bob. I know you're kind of
all
biased,
the new
right?
coming in. I haven't been to them all yet.
Yeah.
But of course, we have our craft brewers.
We do.
And we've got 5, and probably another one on the way real soon, and 2 distilleries. Yeah,
Nice.
Promote that, but that's what we are, and that's kind of a homegrown industry for us. So we're promoting it, and it's doing well. But I like to go around and visit.
Sure, of course. Well, Michael Zaharias, thank you so much for visiting Sanford today and being on the City of Sanford's podcast, Program Director for the Florida Virtual Entrepreneur Center, and of course our Bob Turk, our Economic Development Director for the City of Sanford. We appreciate you both being here. Thank you so much, and encourage our listeners to go to the website. Michael, want to just tag your website one more time?
FLVEC.com.
Yes.
Or Google search us.
Yes, do that, please. So this has been another episode of Sanford Says. Lisa Holder, Communications Officer. Please, you can find our website and subscribe today on SoundCloud, Spotify, iHeartRadio, iTunes, and all of our social media, including the city website at sanfordfl.gov/podcast. Subscribe today. Until next time, thank you.